Hello and welcome back to another edition of Willsgrillshack. Today we are pushing the boundaries of the Traeger Ranger and we are doing a 6 kilo brisket on it, and I'm excited to see how this turns out. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'd have known I put up a post about a brisket that I found in the freezer and what I wanted to cook it on. Everybody actually voted, 43% of the votes was for the big green egg, and I think 30% was for the Traeger Ranger. But it got me thinking, be really cool to cook a full packer on the Traeger Ranger and see how it turns out. Now most of you know that I'm a massive fan of these Traeger Rangers. I think they're absolutely fantastic and I use mine probably one of the most out of all the grills that I've got, alongside the Big Green Egg Mini Max. So I'm really looking forward to seeing whether you can actually do a full packer on one of these, because it's a question that gets asked a hell of a lot at the demo days, and if you can, I really think this is going to be the best value for money pellet grill on the market. I do have a few concerns, one of which being the actual size of it. It fills up the whole of the cooking chamber on the Traeger Ranger, and I wonder whether we're going to get a few burnt bits, so we may have to modify the cook as we go, maybe chuck some tin foil around it or something like that. But other than that, I think it's going to perform really well. I've spoken to the guys at Traeger. It should in theory work, but obviously it's such a big bit of meat. I don't know whether the Ranger is going to be able to hold temperature, so it'll be interesting to see. There you go, let's jump straight into the video, head over to the bench, and I'm going to show you how to prepare the brisket and what seasoning we're going to be using. Okay, and here is our brisket. It's a Spring Creek brisket. At a guess, I would probably say that was maybe sort of 6 kilos, so it's a fair old size. Nice shape. I've cooked with one of these before. I think it was my first ever brisket I did about 3 years ago, and they actually come out really well, and they don't require a huge amount of trimming, so you don't actually lose too much off of them. So let's get into it and get this bad boy open and see what we need to do.
So unfortunately the sound has gone, the mic died, but this is just a quick sped up one of how I trim these briskets. I'm actually going to do a full video on this soon, so keep an eye out at the top and I'll leave a card.
Okay, so that's it all trimmed, so we're going to flip it over, and obviously I like to run fat side up, so we're going to be using the Franklin Barbecues brisket rub, but we're going to be adding a little bit more to it, so we're just going to go straight over with this. Make sure you get your sides. Then we're going to go in with some more pepper, so it's more like 2 parts pepper, 1 part salt. And then I just like to go in with a little bit of garlic, just a tiny bit over the top. Now flip it, which is the presentation side. So this is what you're going to see on the smoker, and we'll go again with this. And that is now ready to go into the fridge overnight before we fire up the smoker in the morning. There we go, all seasoned up, so now let's chuck that into the fridge overnight like I do with all my other briskets, and rejoin me in the morning when we're going to fire up the Ranger and see how we do. Okay, and here is the Traeger Ranger. So we got some cherry pellets in here ready to go, so we're just going to turn this on, and I think we're going to need to go fairly low and slow on this, so we're going to start off at 100 and just get that Traeger Ranger up to temperature. Okay, so the Traeger's now where it needs to be, so we're just going to get that brisket on. Okay, so we've gone with the point side over the back. This is the hottest bit, so obviously that's the thickest part, so it's going to cook quickest. We know that it burns hot around here, so I'm going to have to watch the edges and less so up here on the flat. So we may be spinning it halfway through, but we'll soon find out. So let's close the lid down and pop back shortly. Okay, so we're about an hour in now, and what I said would happen is happening. So the front here is cooking faster, and so is the back over here, just where you can see the obviously the design of the Ranger. It's such a small area. These are overlapping where the heat shield is, so hopefully this is going to shrink down a little bit. What I'm going to do is get a little bit of tin foil just to chuck in there and over the back. So we've added the tin foil here on the front, and here on the back, so we're going to close that back down and see where we're at in another hour. Okay, so we're at the 2 hour mark and we are getting a real nice colour on this brisket. It's doing really well. Again, we are getting a few crispy bits around the outside, but I'm not overly worried about it at the moment. So what we're going to do is we've got our mix here of apple vinegar cider and soy sauce, and we're just going to start spraying this, just keeping these side bits nicely lubricated. And there we go. So we're going to leave that for another hour or so and then pop back and see how we're doing. Okay, so we're at the 5 hour mark now, and it's not actually cooking as quickly as what I thought it would do, but you can see the bark is looking really good. Still going a little bit crispy where I've put obviously tin foil, but yeah, it's looking really good. So I think we're going to give it another spray, and you can see that the fat just isn't spongy enough for my liking yet, so it's probably going to need another 5-6 degrees internal, so probably another half an hour and then we'll pop back. Okay, so we are now ready to wrap this, so let's get it on the bench and take a look. People always ask me, how do you know when it's time to wrap? And I always say, if you feel the fat, and you can see that it's sort of got that dry look to it, but it sponges back nicely, which means that it's ready to wrap. So we're going to go with the Chud's barbecue method again. I really liked that when I did the pork, so I'm going to see what it's like with a brisket. I said I would try it on my next brisket, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap that now. And there we go, that is all wrapped, ready to go back on the grill. So let's head back over there now. Straight back on there. Chud method. Let's close that down. We'll pop back. Also going to increase the heat to 125. Should be enough. So we'll pop back in an hour and see where we're at. Okay, so we've been wrapped now for a couple of hours, and just look at that bark. That is proper nice bark. So let's just do the little probe test. So it's really probing nicely, pretty much falling through. I mean, it says that it's only at 80, 90-ish on the point end, so we're going to leave that probably for another half an hour, 40 minutes, and then come back. Okay, I'm really happy with this. If I move that, see the jiggle on it as well. I'll just grab the Thermapen and look at that, slides through, no resistance. This is going to be a beautiful brisket. Okay, now you can really see how dark it is. Sorry about the noise in the background, there's some building work going on a couple of doors down. So yeah, let's give this another little wrap. And we're just using the little Tundra 35 today, just enough for one brisket to fit in there. So it's wrapped up in those towels, it's just sat in there. So let's pop back in a couple of hours and I'm excited to see how we've done. Right, and here it is, all rested. It's actually shrunk down so much, but the bark is seriously nice. Really happy with that bark. It's got that definite shine and glisten to it, which is what you're looking for. And I'm excited to slice into this. The knife feels a little bit overkill for this brisket, but let's slice into it. Straight down the middle. Oh yeah, just like butter, that is. Really nice. Here comes one up. Look at that, that's really good. No need to squeeze, it's just oozing out of there. Let's have a look at the other end. And just dripping. And just sliced off my favourite bit, which is the little end cap there. Lovely. And just look at the juices running through that.
on that fatty end. That is beautiful. So I'm going to slice up the rest of this and we're going to do a little taste test. Okay, and the taste test, that just falls apart. Oh, now that has got some flavour to it. That is packed full of flavour. Man, that brisket was good. I wouldn't say it was necessarily my best brisket, but come on, I mean, it was on the Traeger Ranger. I mean, that thing is like a portable barbecue. Imagine being at a campsite, going off about your day and leaving the Ranger to do its thing with a full pack of brisket. Absolutely insane to imagine that that is possible. And I was actually really impressed with how it cooked, and it didn't go as crispy as what I thought it was going to do, and I genuinely thought I was going to ruin this brisket. When I first started out in the morning and I saw it had covered the whole grill, I thought this brisket is getting ruined, but it actually went the other way and came out really good, which I was so happy about. So at the start of the video I asked if you could cook a brisket on the Traeger Ranger, and I think we know now the answer is yes, you can cook a brisket on the Traeger Ranger. So there you go guys, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button to see more content similar to this. Hit that like button so others also will enjoy this video, and join me next time for another edition of Will's Grill Shack. Thanks for watching.